plugged in?
The light, yes, it is.
I need sorry.
I think he's going. He should go.
It should just go. It should go.
Oh, that's nice.
Wow, that's really nice. That's a very nice view. And I'm probably gonna include this in the video as
Your
well.
clip.
Hey?
You can add that view into your
I'm
clip.
definitely gonna add it to the video. Hopefully, Giselle, could you actually capture a video of Could you capture a video of that? A video of this cloud formation? I'm gonna put it in the video. Yeah, just like 5 seconds of it. Thank you so much. Okay, welcome everybody to this first episode of Hangar Talk. We are based here at the Eagle Air Hangars at Von Boom Airport. This series of episodes is going to be an interview of different people involved in the industry, so to speak. So people who are training, people who are already in the profession itself. And so for today we have our co-host who essentially came up with the idea of this podcast, Hangar Talk. We have Donald. Donald, your full name, please, in the mic.
Donald here, call sign Mike Whiskey.
Yes.
And we welcome you to the first episode of the Hangar Talk.
Yes.
And this is just a series of, the way my friend has said, it's a series of episodes of podcasts. We'll be having different guests on set.
Lovely.
And today maybe it's about the guests, it's not about us.
It is about the guests.
So I think
it is about the
we'll
guests.
give them more time than we do.
Exactly. So now let's bring in the guest. We have a beautiful. You guys can't see it, but there's a helicopter hovering in the background and it's making a lot of noise. This is the first episode, as you know, mistakes, errors, all sorts of things come into play, but we just go over the flow. So let's bring into the podcast our guests. The first guest, ladies first, my man. Ladies first. You have to hand in the mic.
Hi, my name is Ritola, or you can call me Tabita.
Tabita, lovely.
Yeah. Basically, I'm 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I am currently working towards my CPL. I'm just doing my CPL subjects right now. I also have my RPL and yeah.
Lovely. Could you tell us what is an RPL license?
It's a remote pilot license.
Remote pilot license.
Flying
Okay.
drones.
Drones, exactly.
Yes.
So it's also known as a drone.
A drone.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Tabita. And then can we have?
Hi guys, my name is Liquinea, but you can call me David. Commercial pilot Botswana. Recently tested for my commercial pilot South Africa and got it.
Excellent. So when did you get your commercial pilot license, David?
Got my commercial pilot license. Which one?
The South African one, the one you
South
just got
African
now.
one. Day before recording.
The day before. So it wasn't yesterday?
Yesterday, man.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
It was
exactly.
yesterday,
Day before
yeah.
recording.
Yeah,
Yeah,
brand new
exactly.
lesson.
So you just got it yesterday,
Yeah.
as you say, from the time of this recording. Excellent. Good. And Tabita, your RPL. Let's get into the RPL.
Okay.
So now, when did you get the RPL?
I got the RPL last year, September.
Oh, was it that recent?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I just had
Oh, okay.
finished getting my PPL,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was literally just a discussion with my mother,
Yes.
because she's like, you need to be an opportunist, you need to be the first black woman to do this.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
in my head, I was like, okay, anything that needs to fly, I need to be able to operate it.
Sure.
So I was doing research, and then I was interested in the drone pilot license.
Okay.
And then 2 minutes later, my mother already has a school in line and everything like that.
My gosh.
And basically, I went to Pro Wings.
Mm-hmm.
Since I had already done my PPL, I only was required to do one exam. But the standard procedures, you have to do 6 exams.
Okay. What are those? So what's the one exam that you had to do?
It was literally all the subjects all in one. It
Oh.
was the same as the PPL subjects.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the only different thing was the general. So knowing the C2 length, the batteries, the rotors of the drone, doing the actual pre-flight of the drone, the helipads, just that was the only thing different about the exam.
Okay, so the ATG exam is specific to
The drone.
the drone.
Yeah.
Donald, you seem to have a question there.
Yeah, I'm actually interested. She spoke about the pre-flight of the drone.
Yeah. What is the pre-flight of the drone?
What is the pre-flight?
Exactly.
And when you compare it to the way we do in our aircraft, how different is it now that you're
It's-
aboard?
Okay. Well, first of all, it's like a small drone, so there's not really much that you have to do. You basically do your round. You check the gimbal.
So you
check
do a
the-
walk around. You're
Yeah,
gonna
you
walk
do a
around
walk
there.
around. You do a walk
How many
around.
quarts of oil?
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
You do a walk around, you check your gimbal, you check the propellers are working finely. You also do a radio call if you have like what is the
So is it a handheld radio that?
Yes, a
Okay.
handheld
Yeah.
radio.
Yeah.
You do your radio call and then you do startup, normal like aviation things, and then yeah.
My word.
So do you request like for departure? How
No.
how different is it?
Okay, I know, like it sounds like we're making a joke. We're not, but it'll be interesting if you just had your drone there on the apron, and then you said
yeah.
Vanderboom Tower. What is it? Zulu? Is it a registration?
No, it's usually it's X-ray umbrella, and then yeah.
X-ray umbrella.
Yeah.
That's more cooler than I know. If we had X-ray umbrella for our aircraft,
You know, the reason why I'm asking that
Yeah.
is because in some of these major airports,
Yes,
sometimes you see the military drones literally taxiing in front of another aircraft.
Oh, I
think,
see. I
yeah,
see.
Maybe the procedures are
I
usually
think
harmonized
with airports, I think you would probably request departure. But where I did my practicals, we did it in like a farm, Hickport.
Okay.
So we didn't really have to.
There was no
request-
controlled airspace,
Yeah.
and so actually, what is if you wanted to fly in a controlled airspace, how would you go about that?
It's the same thing with flying your aircraft.
You would have to make a radio call to
Yes.
tower and say,
Or
"Hey,
like literally all the time. If you hear, if you hear a radio call saying they're near where you are, you're gonna have to report it. Literally your every point.
oh, okay, that's interesting." Because the only experience I've had of the closest experience I've had of a drone in one of these planes, we were going to Witbank, and then we were on final approach, and then some guy came on the radio and said, "Oh, there's 2 drones operating to the western side of the runway," and I was like, "Okay, thank you very much. We're just gonna land and go. Thanks."
Yeah, no, drone. It's actually, it's very interesting. There are a lot of job opportunities that come with an RPL. Like it's getting a lot popular with mines. They don't do manual surveys anymore. So
Okay.
you can do surveying. You can also get into agriculture, farming, as well as the entertainment industry. Or
That one, which we know about, which
Yeah.
I'm trying to get you into.
yes,
I've been trying to get you into.
We're still going there.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Yeah.
And so the other question still on the drone thing.
Okay.
You now that you're a drone pilot and
Yes.
you are an aircraft pilot as well.
Yes.
So what do you think about the safety, the margins of safety between the operations of drone and aircrafts? For example, recently was it Ireland, the airport?
Ireland?
Yeah, they
The-
used to
the,
close frequently because drones flying the vicinity of the airport.
Yes.
And interrupting the flight. It was Heathrow, yeah, Heathrow as well.
Okay.
So what do you think?
Like the safety caution
The safety cushion. Do you think we need more stricter rules or something? Or
with the.
what's your view about it? Are you scared like one day you're flying a Cessna and then one of the drone pilots all of a sudden flies a drone in front of you?
I don't know. I think drone pilots are cautious because you always.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. I would assume.
You seem to
Well, I
know
would
that.
assume getting my RPL, I would have to be cautious if I was flying in an aerodrome because I know there'll be aircrafts coming in and out. So radio calls are standard.
Okay.
24/7.
The people who have the RPL license. There are some people who, because I think there's a classification of drones where you don't need an RPL. I feel as if
where you like
The
act
little
under
drones.
somebody who.
perhaps so.
Yeah.
And I think I've heard stories. Oh no, I'm gonna throw them under the bus. Let me not throw them under the bus. No, not here.
But again, the margins of safety still. because for an aircraft there's a lot of regulations and follow-ups
Yeah.
in terms of maintenance and all that.
Mm-hmm.
How does it happen in the drone world?
They
For
are,
example,
like
if there was
with-
an incident, who's
Maintenance,
responsible
eh?
for investigation? Who's responsible for ensuring someone who's not operating the drone part, the
Mhm.
required standards, the license of somehow maybe cancelled or they're held into
Yo.
accountability?
That I do not know,
Yeah.
sir. I just know that maintenance, they, like if you are at an institution, they have AMO, but you can also get like a mechanic certification for the drone
For the
as
drone
well.
maintenance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
have this
That's pretty cool. David, have you ever? Let's bring you into the conversation here. So, have you ever thought of getting an RPL license? I mean,
Okay, first experience I had with a drone was back home.
okay.
Just coming into a strip and I found guys there with a Model 172. Seemed like a pretty solid operation going on.
You're talking about radio-controlled aircraft,
The RC.
RC aircraft.
The RC one.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
but
okay.
They were on the strip.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm talking airside
Mm-hmm.
on the runway.
Oh, okay.
So when I was coming into land, they actually vacated because they saw that I was coming.
Oh, okay.
So it was they were training actually drone pilots.
So that's actually a very good point that we should bring up the difference between an RC aircraft and a drone.
Yeah.
So I think our understanding of a drone is a quad propeller aircraft. I don't know. Would you call, for example, in the military side of things, where they have these large aircraft, or large drones? Would you classify that as a drone, or is that an RC? Well, what do you think?
Actually, I think drones are all the unmanned aerial vehicles. They're usually just referred to as drones generally. It's not limited to the corporate.
Oh, unmanned aerial UAVs.
Yeah, the UAVs. Yeah.
That's what they call them.
Yeah.
UAVs
so all
in
of
the
them,
military.
including the RCs.
Okay, yeah.
They fall under the UAV.
Yes.
Yeah. So the drones is just a shorter, general, relaxed term for them.
Yeah.
Right. But definitely my understanding is that a drone, when I think of a drone, I'm thinking of the quad propeller.
Because
Okay.
I think also that's the common one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But your first experience is now
with
RC
with
aircraft.
The RC. But I think on that topic of drone or RC,
Mm.
if you say RC, I think you're bordering along the lines of, okay, it's just a toy.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, because it's a
You're
control.
playing with you're just there to have fun.
Remote control
Mhm.
basically is what it
Mhm.
is. And when you say RC,
Yes.
so with drone, I think there's a lot more technicality to it.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what I
Yes.
believe.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, I think the term drone is more applicable as compared to
Mhm.
RC. Or
Yeah.
I'm an RC pilot. I'm gonna be like, oh, so you play with
Yeah,
toy
true.
planes, you know. So
True. True.
yeah,
True. True.
yeah. But drones, drones I think could be the future.
Mm-hmm.
My question is,
Yes.
what does that mean for pilots in the future? I mean, if you can control an
You know what?
aircraft
Remote
with,
control, yeah.
with a remote control, what are you saying?
Yes. That's actually a very good point.
Yeah.
Beyond your drones, you have now AI, artificial intelligence, right?
Yeah.
Which has the pace in which it has developed, specifically with what what's it called? GBT.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, GBT. Yeah, that thing is smart, man.
Incredibly smart.
Yes.
I don't know if have you tried it?
No.
You haven't tried it yet,
I
Dave?
haven't tried.
You haven't?
I've tried it.
You've tried
written,
it.
I've
How-
written poems with it.
You've written poems. Okay, so ChatGPT is the next level search engine to Google, so to speak. It's beyond search engine. You can if you have a problem. Let's say you want to type up your CV, but you're not really sure, or a cover letter, and for a job, and you're not really sure what to say, and you type into the search. I would like, please, can you write a cover letter for me for this particular job, and then it's just going to write it out. It's going to write it out, and to be honest, some of the sentences, it's better.
Really, really good.
It's
If I was the one employing someone
Yes.
and then they came up with something that ChatGPT generated,
Mhm.
I'd probably hire that person.
And in
So
fact, there was
really
one situation where a student at university, so obviously a lecturer, they provide assignments that you have to write a particular essay, and this student was like, okay, let me put it into ChatGPT. It generated an entire essay for the student, and then now that's an issue of the lecturer is not able to identify plagiarism, as in if they've,
Yeah.
right? So it's now next level. And what they're saying for the aviation industry is that if you now put in an AI as a first officer, if this is the airline world, right,
Yeah.
or the multi-crew world, if you put in the AI as the first officer, it not only can act as your checklist, but it can just ensure that you are flying safely. And on top of that, it can also be your autopilot. So now they're saying at some point 10, 20 years from now, you're going to have single crew operations in a multi-crew environment.
And I think Airbus is already taking the lead
yes.
with the A350. I don't know if you guys have seen the test with the A350, the
No, I
auto
haven't
landing,
seen
auto
that
takeoff.
one. Have you
Is
seen
it the self-landing and
Yes,
self-takeoff?
and
Yeah.
it's using visual, not the instrument landing system. It's
Yeah.
flying visually using the infrared. But again, I think the question of single pilot operation is a double-edged sword, especially right now. I don't think it's going to be. It's not going to be a thing maybe within the next 30, 40 years, but eventually it will be. Because
Eventually, yes.
Yes, I'm quite sure there's a time even flight engineers were like, nah, there's no way aircraft are going
Exactly,
to fly
because
without flight engineers.
in what was it, the 80s, when the 747 or the 747 had you had
400.
the captain, first officer, and then the flight engineer,
Yeah.
and then now obviously in the 90s they said we don't need you. You know, you're
They're
irrelevant.
cutting the crew slowly. but
Yeah,
surely.
exactly.
So it's an eventuality, but
It is, yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen. So I have my own reason as to why it's not a good idea.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I tend to base it on the crash of German wings. You can remember the pilot suicide.
Oh, I
the
see.
pilot was led.
So now what if you get, let's take the aspect of drone pilots, right?
Yep.
Where as a pilot you are sat here in a hangar somewhere and you've got VR headsets and you can act as a first officer for a multi-crew environment sitting here. So you still have one person on board, and then the first officer is sitting here. And the situation that would come about is if, let's say, you have a shortage of these particular pilots in this country, and then it's hard to get them a work visa. It's costly to get them a work visa. It's costly to send them over here and accommodation and all that stuff. But now if you can access a global pool of pilots without even moving them, and they're just sat in a VR cockpit as a first officer, I think that's probably a direction that's possible.
I think that'll absolutely suck, man. traveling to a destination but never being there. It's like watching television.
Yeah.
Yeah. And-
There's actually like a program
Yeah.
in Nigeria.
Okay.
Basically, the drone pilots like flying actual airplanes,
Mhm.
like the airplane that's like a different rating.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what they do is they transport medication from the hospital to people,
Mhm.
like to their houses.
Oh,
Very
okay,
much,
okay.
yes.
This is Nigeria.
Yeah.
Even
Okay.
Yeah,
Rwanda.
Nigeria, Kenya,
Yeah.
somewhere there.
Okay.
I'm not-
Yeah, I think I've I
I've
think
seen
I've
it
heard
in Rwanda.
where
Rwanda.
Rwanda.
Yeah,
Oh, Rwanda.
Yes.
I think it's Rwanda, Nigeria, and also some, but Rwanda does it on a major
Yes.
scale compared
Yeah.
to the rest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's now get into we've got obviously 3 different pilots at different stages of your CPL, commercial pilot license career. Starting off with David, where are you at? You have
Like I said, commercial pilot license in Botswana, and then
Mhm.
I tested yesterday for the commercial South Africa.
mhm,
Yeah.
multi-engine
Multi-engine instrument rating.
instrument rating.
Yep.
Okay, and then second running,
Oh,
yourself?
yeah.
where are you now in your training process?
Right now, I just started my instrument rating.
Okay.
The final stage for CPLIR.
Okay.
Done with the simulator session. So basically, I'm just going towards where he is right now in a
So-
couple of weeks or so.
Okay. Have you jumped into the complex aircraft yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. You're doing
in
the sim-
Yes, because we
the
use
lofts.
the arrow. Yeah, and but in real world, not yet.
Okay, great.
Bruh.
It is amazing. It is amazing. Just as almost as fast as
The Seneca.
Seneca, yeah.
Yeah.
with
Well,
a
this
single
particular
engine.
arrow, I mean the turbo arrow.
Yeah. Even the regular arrow, I think the speed is almost the same. Yeah.
I can't quite remember the figures. I think the turbo arrow is about 10 knots, 10 to 15 knots slower
Yeah.
than the Seneca.
Yeah, the Seneca with a single engine.
Single engine.
Man, you know, like flying the Arrow 3,
Mhm.
the turbo one.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, I was from here going to Pilanesberg,
Mm.
and I literally said to my instructor at the time, I was like, flying this aircraft is like a skipping stone.
Mm.
Like, you can literally feel
Mm.
it literally just gliding over the air as it
Mm.
goes. And the airspeed is literally
It just goes.
It's just going.
It keeps going.
Man,
It just keeps going.
You're on the climb, and then you
Yeah.
see your manifold pressure drop.
Yes.
Oh no, I have a turbo. Let's go.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh no, flight level 100. Let's
It's
go.
fine. It keeps going.
Let's
It
go.
keeps going.
Let's go.
And it's optimal at 12,000 feet.
Man, I think the only
Mm.
thing that's unfortunate about that is it's not pressurized.
Yes. That's actually
There's a limitation on how
that's actually a
high
good
you
point.
can go.
There's a
That's a
big
good point. I
limitation
forgot
there.
about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
But other than that, man, solid aircraft.
Beautiful.
Yeah, very beautiful.
So you flew the Baron for, and we are going to come to you. Don't worry. You flew the Baron for your test, Romeo Mike Golf. How would you compare the two, the Baron and Mia?
Look, the Baron is fast. It's
Okay.
a fast plane. You want to get there now, great.
Mm.
But I can't really justify having two engines without two engine benefits across the board.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
If you lose one engine, you can go somewhere, but you're very limited on that engine.
Mhm.
You know, I'd love to have a FAR-25 aircraft if it's gonna be a multi-engine.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say for me the Arrow is really it checked everything for
Mhm.
me. I'd go for the Arrow over the Baron.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the Baron, which is just there, the Baron is naturally aspirated, right? Now what if you stuck on turbos on that thing?
Now you're talking different story. But still, workload. In terms of a multi-engine workload, it's there until you have a single engine.
Failure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But still, I still stick by a single engine. Single engines nowadays, how often do they die?
Well, now we're talking about turbine single engine, right? Like the PT6 and the
Yeah.
PC12 and the.
But yeah, I mean, if you look at how stringent maintenance is for
Yes.
aviation,
Mm.
it's unlikely that your engine is gonna die. And
Mhm.
for me, I'm comfortable with that.
Mm,
You know, I'm
mm.
comfortable with that margin.
Mhm.
I'd say single engine piston is still gonna be around.
Mhm.
You know, I know they're phasing them out in some parts of the world
Mhm,
in
mhm.
these charter operations, but I still feel like, you know, it can still pull quite a lot.
Mhm.
You know, it can still get you places.
No, I mean the Caravan does an excellent job. The PC12
They do,
does an
they do.
excellent job
Very
as well.
reliable. Yeah.
But entry wise, nah. I mean, if you're looking to buy a multi-engine, think about this.
Yes.
You can easily acquire Baron
Mhm.
55, good price, 310s. You can get it. Man, it's so cheap.
Mhm.
You want a C63? Forget about it. Get an aircraft.
So
A
how much is a
multi-
Baron? Oh, have you looked into the price
A
for it?
Baron would be about $1,500,000.
$55,000. You'll get a
Look at that.
you'll get
Okay.
a used Baron.
How much
There's
USD?
this website I usually check prices of aircraft.
Yeah.
I'm planning to buy one.
Oh, okay.
Go,
well,
man. Me too.
well, we're waiting. Well,
the website is called Controller.
Controller, okay.
Ah,
yeah,
yes, I know
Controller.
that one.
You know about
Yes.
it, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so the Baron usually ranges from the in between 250 at the very least,
Mhm.
all the way to the Baron 58 P,
Yeah.
going all the way to up to $1 million, brand new.
Okay, yeah,
So
the brand new, but
ranges between
that's
those.
okay. So before we get into that, let's bring in. So we said we have 3 CPO pilots at 3 different stages of your training,
Training.
right? So David, already you're finished,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Donald, you're coming up to finishing up your instrument rating side of things,
Okay.
which means you've finished your exams. You're coming close to finishing your 100 hours PIC.
Yes.
And that's pretty much it. And then, of course, Tabitha, you are at.
Well, I'm busy doing my examinations.
Mhm.
So far, I think I've written 3 exams. I have 5 exams left to do,
Mhm.
and then also our building.
The
pilot
hour building.
command.
How many hours do you have left to roughly?
How many hours do I have to do?
Yeah.
Uh,
Left.
82 hours.
82 hours.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's quite hefty.
Yeah. Well, you'll get through.
there,
I mean,
yeah.
they can explain to you. I mean, your hour building. What did you do for 100 hours PS? Did you need to do it? Because you were converting.
Yeah, I was converting. So in South Africa, I didn't do much hour building.
Okay.
But it was just for fun.
How much?
For fun.
For
I
fun.
flew
Okay.
For fun. Yeah.
For fun.
Yeah, if you saw me left seat, if you saw
For
me
fun.
left seat in a plane alone, hey man, I'm going out for a jol.
Yeah.
So most of my hour building was in Botswana.
Okay.
That's where I flew mainly.
Mm.
South Africa, not so much, but I have gone a few places.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've gone a few places. So
So that's actually a good point. I want to bring into that mix. So your hour building in Botswana.
Yeah.
What city were you based at, or town, or
Based in Gaborone.
Gaborone?
Which is the capital.
And for your hour building, where did you guys go to?
Man, the country was yours. The country was yours if you could find a strip and fuel.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fuel.
fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that difficult to find?
In the western parts of the country, yes.
Okay.
You'd have to book fuel.
Okay.
Was it worth the hassle? I wouldn't say so. Not a lot of us did that. I didn't do that.
Mm.
But you could do that. So we usually went north of the city, Maun, Kasane,
Mm.
Francistown. And yeah, just
What's the flight time from Gaborone to Maun?
flight time is about 3 hours.
3
If you
hours.
Cross the game reserve in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, take about 3 hours. But
Okay.
if you're in a small baby, no, don't do that. Don't do
I
that.
actually have a question. Like,
Please
do you-
ask away.
Do you know how the bush flying in Botswana works? Like,
The bush flying in Botswana, you get a job with a company that's based in Maun. The city, or not the city, but the town is Maun. So once you get a job there with them, they basically either put you in air van is what they operate predominantly for entry level. Few companies still operate 172.
172. Why is that?
172, man. I think it's to accommodate for the new level, entry level pilots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so-
Just to build Delta experience. 'cause
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
the company
Oh, I
does.
see.
Yeah.
Okay. Because as you have seen, they are a lot of the entry level jobs in SADC, your Namibia, your Botswana, Zimbabwe, perhaps even Zambia, I believe. I don't know about Kenya. You can tell us about Kenya though.
Yeah.
But a lot of the entry level jobs are your 206s and Cessna 206s and 210s, right?
Especially in Botswana, they have a lot of 210s and 206s.
Well, isn't 210s Namibia? Namibia is 210s.
210s.
206s is Botswana. No, is it?
Botswana has a few 206s, but yeah, man, trust me, they are very rare.
So is it
They're
now
rare
Airvan nowadays, or
Yeah,
is it the
it's Airvan.
172?
Airvan.
It's the Airvan.
There's Airvan. A few companies I can think of the top of my head. Two of them have 172s.
Mhm.
Majority Airvans, Pistons, and then from the Airvan, Caravans.
It's a caravan.
Okay,
Yeah.
you go straight onto the Caravan.
Under the Caravan.
Okay, and then you have some 172s.
So to wrap up her question, how they work, it's basically start off on those aircrafts, 172 or the Airvan, Mahindra Airvan, and then from there, if you stay with the company long enough, they'll move you up to the Cessna Caravan, and then happy days, you're in a turbine.
And then with so as we know, SADC is not homogeneous in terms of right to work and live. It's not like Europe, where if you were born in France, you can go and work in Portugal or Italy or wherever, right? So now with Botswana, what are the restrictions for your fellow neighbors to go and to go and work in Botswana?
Man, so people have been coming through to Botswana, man, and have been getting the gigs. So what's been happening is you get a lot of guys coming from different parts of the world coming into Botswana
Especially
for
Europe.
the
Yeah.
especially Europe, man. They'll literally come down with the experience, and they'll steal all the jobs.
Oh, touchy topic, I see.
Touchy topic, man.
Touchy
Very
topic, okay.
So they'd come through, and then obviously they come in with the experience, so they'd get preference. So the government has put in place measures to have the companies look towards the citizens first. So 250 minimum if you are a citizen, 500 if you are not.
Okay, 250 hours if you're a citizen,
Yeah, total time.
total time, and then 500 hours if you're not. Okay.
If you're not a citizen. That was an ingenious way of doing it, actually.
Mm.
Yeah, because I remember there's a time there was a show. I don't really want to mention it here.
Okay.
We'll receive a strike. There was a show about flying in Botswana.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you'll just cut that part with the bush pilot.
Oh.
Yeah, and I used to follow like that show religiously.
Yes.
You
Yes.
could see there was a lot of, especially pilots from Europe, because in Europe you need experience to get to EasyJet and Ryanair.
Yes. Exactly.
So there's a lot of pilots coming from Europe to Botswana. So I
Mhm.
think for the government thinking about its citizens and placing such rules, I think it was very considerate.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
However, I'm still the advocate of Southern Africa should stick together.
I am as
Technically,
well.
the entire of
Yeah.
Africa.
All
Yes.
of
You
it,
should be able
honestly
to-
speaking.
Mm.
Yeah.
You should be able to study in South Africa,
Mhm.
go work in Nigeria.
Mm,
go work in
yes.
Ethiopia. It's
Yes.
supposed to be integrated.
It really
in
should
some sort,
be.
Yeah.
So the same question to you, Donald. Entry level aircraft in Kenya. How's that?
Most of the companies in Kenya operate the caravans. Only a few of them operate the 206. So most likely you're going to find yourself in a charter company or the local airline. By local airline I mean most of the companies there, just like Botswana, I think they fly tourist destinations. Most of them actually have caravan. It's an airline, but it's caravan. So most of the time you find yourself as a first officer, because the rules there require for an airline to have, even if it's a single pilot, it's a single.
The
pilot
caravan is a
aircraft,
single
yeah.
pilot.
So you need to have two crew on board. So
Yeah.
most of the time you find those airlines with two crew. So most likely you'll find yourself as a
First
officer.
officer.
Of the caravan. And
That's
then,
interesting, because I know in South Africa the rule is for the caravan, if you carry 9 passengers, you can have one pilot on
one
board.
pilot, yeah.
But then if you have 12 passengers, now you have to have 2 pilots on board, because so in total it takes 14. So I wonder if it's the same thing in Kenya.
No, for charters they can really fly with one pilot at any time. The charter companies have the leeway of having one pilot, but for airlines strictly 2 pilots.
Okay.
You need to have 2 pilots, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But the good thing from the caravan, you go to maybe something like a twin otter or the dash 8s. There's a lot of dash 8s there.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, David, you have something to say?
On the topic of multi-crew ops,
Mm-hmm.
same thing in Botswana. Companies are now starting to go for the multi-ops. So you can be flying the air van.
Yes.
And they get you right seat on the Cessna
Oh, in-
Caravan.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a friend who's currently right seat, who was here at Eagle actually, on the Cessna Caravan,
Oh, okay.
who is on the Cessna Caravan right seat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he just recently completed.
So do you get PIC hours in the right seat, or
Serious questions I'm yet to find out.
It's actually a very good question.
That's a very good question.
it's a very good question.
But
Okay.
I think it's more for insurance to get you proficient on the
I see.
aircraft.
Yeah, you're right. Because I know here, and I've mentioned this so many times in my live streams, that a lot of the insurance requirements here are you need to have a minimum of 50 hours turbine time on type before insurance would allow you to be
PSA.
released as a line pilot.
Oh, okay.
So, but I imagine that's different in Kenya, perhaps.
Regarding the insurance, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
It's a question to find out, and I hope whoever's watching can write in the comment section below, I hope, and then give us an answer. So now let's talk about the challenges. You're in the 3 different phases of CPL. Let's talk about the main challenges in going through the training, and then we'll start off with you, and then hopefully they can give some form of advice, and then we'll start off with where you're at now. What's your challenge?
Yeah.
And then hopefully you can give some form of advice,
Yeah.
and then we'll come lastly to your challenge, and maybe I can give some form of advice. I don't know. So then, please could you? Thank you.
What I think the challenge is working towards a CPL. For one, I think finance. 'Cause,
Finance.
like aviation industry, it's expensive
Mm.
in itself,
Mm.
and also given the lack of sponsorships
Mm.
within the industry, it's just hard to find sponsorships. But
Did you try TETA?
No, I didn't. I only found out about it like halfway through my PPL.
Okay.
But then for my PPL, I was able to get a sponsorship with my mom's employer.
Nice.
She works for a mine called
Nice.
KMR.
You want to give that out? People are gonna be like KMR.
KMR.
Someone
Tell
is
us
writing it
more.
down.
Website, phone number.
And then they'll go back to what's the name again?
Yeah, one more time. Contact person. Right.
They're actually based in Kurumani.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the thing is, mines are so reluctant to sponsor people in aviation, or like they would sponsor someone if they know after the course they will come back and work for them.
Okay. But so why don't they sign like a bond with you to say?
I don't know. It was generally a miracle that they were able
They
to sponsor
accepted.
me throughout my PPL, my night rating, even the CPL exams that I'm writing, the ones I've already written, and the CPL ground school that I'm going through right now.
So now does KMR have a fleet of aircraft?
I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Oh, don't
disclose
mention
this.
Don't mention it. But we do know in general. A lot of mines do actually have.
Yeah, but I know from what my mother tells me that sometimes the employees or the CEO would fly in from headquarters, which is in Joburg, and fly back to Gugumani. So I'm sure they have like a private.
Okay, I'm sure there's something there.
Yeah.
There is something there.
But I think most of them utilize helicopters because it works well for.
Now
for
you're
them
going
more
into
than
the
the
security division.
Oh no, they have jets.
They have jets.
They
have
private
jets,
jets.
yes.
Ah, okay. That's
So
interesting.
for example, like Sishen, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, which seems to be a mining cluster, and a number of them own like B1900, Beechcraft 1900 aircraft, and then I should mention, but yes, I'm aware of some of these mining companies have jets, proper jets. So there's an opportunity.
Yeah,
There is an opportunity.
there is.
In fact, there's this one guy. I don't know if you know him. I'm so sorry. I'm forgetting your name right now. It's my old age. So
I'm sure you're not that old. Come on.
old age. It's old age. Okay, so he was telling me, because he used to be a flight operations manager for it was either a mining company or it was I think it was a mining company, and he said basically all you have to do is you go to the JSE, Johannesburg Stock Exchange. You'll find the top 10 whatever mining companies there. Find them, then go to LinkedIn and just literally search fleet manager for the mining company. You search fleet manager, you email them, and you say, hey, I'm interested in to do an internship over there, or I'd just like to come and talk to you, have a cup of coffee or whatever it is, face to face, just to find out a bit more about your operation. This is who I am, and this is what I'm interested in doing. So it's because it's really hard. If you try and just Google search it, it's very hard. They don't advertise their fleet.
Yeah.
It is not there.
But I think of the same thing. The best idea is to walk into the company, because trust me, if you are maybe a fleet manager or a chief pilot somewhere, you'll be receiving a lot of emails. So most of
That
these
is very
guys
true.
don't
You
really-
will be receiving a lot of emails.
Yeah.
So if you can go to the gatekeeper, which is of course the receptionist,
Yeah.
and
So
if you
just
can
go
be,
there and then talk to that
Yeah,
person
but I
physically.
always say, like, with aviation, you just need to have connections.
you do.
Yeah.
It,
That's true.
You need it.
For hopefully for our building, I will be able to do it with my mom's employer. But you just need to have the right people, know the right people. Yeah.
No, that I would definitely, formulate that relationship, keep it warm, give them updates. Whoever the key person is that you need to be interacting with, give them
Like,
updates.
Even my mom, like yesterday, she was like shouting at me. She's like, "Just finish your CPL exams. There are a lot of people on standby." I'm like, "Which people? I don't know
Right.
these people."
Right.
Show me
Get
the
to know these people. Get to know them. Ask her
Yeah.
like, "Hey, can
Yeah.
I just go meet up with them and have a
Yeah.
chat and just
That's
know
how it
what."
is now, because once you're done with the exams, things will move really quick.
Yeah, more. Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
ascertain that. Once you've written the papers, things start moving really quick.
I have a friend who I'm actually going to bring him on the podcast whenever he is in Vonderboom, because he's always flying around. He works for a mining equipment company, and which leases out equipment to mines. So they're always going all around Southern Africa, and it is such a big opportunity to get into, because that particular company, they're growing. They'll buy more aircraft. Not only he's flying a single engine at the moment, but they'll buy more aircraft, multi-engine. He'll get multi-engine experience. So mining, guys, is the opportunity to get into.
Most definitely.
If I can get him here, like he was here last week Friday, and he said he called me. I missed his call, and an hour later I called him and said, "Oh, I left," because he flew in for something for his boss, and then flew out. So I'll get him.
It's just that crazy.
Yeah,
We
I'll
need
get
to
him
have
one day. I'll get him. Hey,
He's an important guy.
We need to have
now
him
his
here.
his boss is just very busy, and
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed. I'm sure he'll tell us when he comes on. But basically, he's on standby for pretty much the whole month. So it doesn't matter if it's a Sunday, 5 p.m. Hey, I need to go to Zambia.
That's crazy.
But don't you think that's also another downside for a beginning pilot? Because trust me, I was looking at a certain charter company. Yeah? There's a guy rated on the Citation Sovereign, the one the police own here. And we were having a conversation one of the days, and they were saying, for us, we just fly maybe 2 times a week. Sometimes we don't fly at all. Because by the time someone is chartering a citation, these people who are chartering a citation to go fly, they're ever busy, so they don't fly frequently. So if you look at it as a beginner pilot, you need to build that experience as quick as possible.
Yeah, no, it's perfect for a beginner, for a low-hour, low-time
when you are
pilot.
starting up, because let's say, for example, you're doing 10 hours a week, don't you think that's it's kind of retrogressive in terms of building up experience? Because if you're new on something, you need to, the 10,000 hour rule, I think you've heard about that. You need to read more and more and more to get used to it and to get more experience. So don't you think if you build like 10 hours a month, that's a little bit...
10 hours a month or 10 hours a week?
I'm saying, for example, 10 hours a month.
Okay.
Considering a citation is it's a fast aircraft. So if you're flying twice a week...
Oh, no. So when I say he's on standby, he flies a lot.
Yeah.
He does on average 40 to 50 hours or so
per month.
per month.
Okay.
He flies a lot. And he flies a lot of IF instrument time, which is very good experience.
Yeah.
Especially at a low hour time. Okay. What time is it? We just need to confirm. Oh. 25 past.
Yeah.
So we have 15 more minutes before we have to end this. Okay, so did we answer the question? Did you mention that the challenge?
Yes, I mentioned one.
One.
Yeah.
The finance, yes.
Yes, and I think another one would be, I think in the industry is just there's a high level of expectancy. So like for me, 75% is like, damn, I didn't do enough.
Yeah, okay, for the exams,
Yeah, for examinations. Because like I've always said, it's easier to get like an hour in flying than passing an exam.
Yes.
So practically, I love the practical side of it, but then when it comes to exams, it's just like, oh, man.
It's like
Yeah,
75%.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
Varsity people would be happy to get 75%.
Yeah. Varsity people, if they can get 61%, they're like, yes.
Exactly.
It's a pass.
Back in my campus, it was 40%. It's a pass. And it was tough getting that 40%, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because we were doing calculus and all those stuff, so it was.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's
That's
a bit of a tough subject over there. Okay, good. So now exams and finance are the hardest things. So now okay, you guys are from 2 different countries, obviously.
Yeah.
So the financing situation is different, but the exam situation is the same. So let's touch
wouldn't
on...
say different, really. I think the finance situation is a constant thing globally.
Mhm.
Yeah. Every pilot, it's about...
Yeah,
the
but then
finance part of it.
each country has a form of... not every country.
Especially for foreigners.
Yeah.
When you're depositing money, for example, to the institution,
Yes.
it's always fluctuating. You don't have a fixed rate. So For you, the quoted amount here, for example, when we say we're going to fly you at 3,000, when you convert that back to your local currency, it keeps on fluctuating. So it's not stagnant.
So that's a good point. That's a good question. So do you have to monitor the forex to see when is the best time to transfer?
You have to do it. I usually check and see the lows because for a regular currency, like the way South African and the Kenyan currency are usually somewhat stable. If we were working with dollars, that would be a different story.
Oh, okay.
Also, pilot
Yes,
/ forex trader.
So yeah,
Forex trader.
so you have to wait for the lows, which most of them actually happen during the weekend, fortunately. So if you look at the weekend, the lows, and then how I usually check it, I usually go transact with my card, and then I check the exchange rates from the transaction of the card.
Okay.
That's the base of it, and then when I see the rates are lower, then you deposit a lot of money at that particular time.
Okay.
Because that even a difference of 0.1 when you're doing aviation makes a big difference because you're putting in a lot of money here. So you have to really wait for the perfect time to do the transaction.
Okay. So financing, particularly if you're, so you might save up a certain amount, and then it's actually not enough
Exactly.
potentially
That's right. Yeah.
because of forex. Okay. So now with exams, you've done the exams.
I did the exams. Yeah. Okay. I had my own strategy for doing them at that particular
Okay.
time. Yeah. And also, I'd say really, if you listen to the way the people will talk about the exams, it's a matter of trying to change the perspective, try to think about different about them. Because if you really listen to what people are saying about them, you're going to be scared. And the worst thing about exams, or even flying in general, is going there with a scared mindset.
Okay.
Because you'll tend up, if you just walk into an exam room scared, no matter how much you know, it's going to be a very difficult paper. Because you might read a question, read it even twice or thrice. But because your mind is set into that mentality already that this paper is so hard, then you're going to find even difficulty in understanding that particular question. But again, the issue of exam is about practice and reading through the content that you have. My strategy is usually simple.
Is what?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for a particular paper,
Yeah.
for example, we can take something like meteorology. There are those topics that you'll be able to understand. It's natural. The topics that you'll be able to understand very well, your favorite topics. And then there are those problematic topics. Like for me, it was about thunderstorms. I just don't I don't like understanding about thunderstorms and the pressure system. So I had difficulty understanding the pressure system of the climatic region. So what you do, my strategy was once you understand something, you give it less time and take more time to concentrate on the harder stuff. And then once you give time to the harder stuff, so you're able to understand more of the harder stuff, and then you improve a little bit on the little that you know, and then you walk in and do the exam. Yeah.
Oh.
So time frame, what does that look like? Let's say which subject was hard or the hardest for you?
I wouldn't say really hard, but I'd say let's say challenging.
Yes.
And the challenging part was not really about the questions in that particular, but the content.
Okay.
I think in my own personal opinion, if someone from Saka watching, they should consider splitting aircraft technical general.
Thank you.
Yeah, even putting the
ATG,
principle of
man.
flight just on its own, it will go a great way of even evaluating and ensuring the student has understood the concept, because it's just a clumping of
It's deep.
a lot of stuff.
It is a
into one.
deep. My gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember it, and
so-
I'm still shocked about it.
Yes. So you
I'm
might
still
find
shocked.
yourself you've even understood the principles of flight, but because you need more time to understand the engines, you find yourself even getting mixed up with the principles of flight when you're studying the paper. I think it's really not the best way of evaluating how the understanding of a student, especially if you want to understand how well the student has understood the subject. They should consider separating principles of flight from aircraft systems, and even if possible, just put the aircraft systems into two different papers.
I think EASA in Europe, they do split it. I think they have
Yes,
AGK
it's
1
different. Yeah,
and AGK 2.
they have 14 subjects. They do 14
Yes,
subjects.
that might have changed. I think it's down to 13 now. I'm not
Not
sure.
down
Don't quote me
either
on
to
that.
10 or but still principles of flight is separate, because
Yeah.
that's
It's
the
a lot.
The questions are not hard,
Yeah,
but
it's just a lot.
sheer content that you have to read through and do the questions. But again, whatever gave me hope is because when I'm done here, I know there's a paper waiting for me back at home. You know, like here conversions, you do certain specific papers. Back at home, it's a composite paper, so it's just a set of 100 questions, and then you have to do all of them.
Really?
So, like I really need to practice for this. I was
Okay.
practicing for the paper using a TG.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of debate between which question bank to use
Yep.
for your CPL.
Yep.
So I just started using Aeroversity and pilot exams.
Yep.
But I've seen pilot exam is more accurate to CAA questions. But then also Aeroversity has like its perks as well.
Yeah.
Which one do you use?
Okay, I use the Aeroversity, but in my own opinion, the question banks should act as a supplement. to
Question
it
bank?
shouldn't be.
Oh, you mean in general, a question
In
bank?
general,
should
the
do-
questions bank should act as a supplement. Most of us students, we take it as the holy grail of passing exams, which I think it's a wrong approach. Because I remember when I was doing my metrology, I got a lot of application questions, which was weird. People go doing metrology, they tell me they get direct questions, but I got a lot of application questions. So sometimes I think we really need to sit down as students and try to understand the content first before using the question banks. But in terms of question banks, I use the Aeroversity for the entire. I'm not advertising Aeroversity.
Where's your sponsorship?
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Donald, where's your sponsorship?
we need them to sponsor.
I
this
know.
show. Yeah, but technically I use Aeroversity, and then I was lucky enough to buy the Oxford CBTs. So they are very helpful in understanding, because the Oxford CBTs, they're audio visual with a lot of animation, so it was very easy to understand the concepts as well. So yeah, in addition to using
Yo, but
Aeroversity,
CVTs are expensive.
yeah, but it was a long-term investment. I did my PPL in 2017, so I got them during that
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting. So, I semi agree, or not, no, each person has their own method of study.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
So, your method of understanding the knowledge first, I agree
Then
with that,
using the
particularly
exams
at
as a
the
supplement.
PPL level. Because you don't know anything at the PPL level, so you need to have that foundation.
Yep.
And then coming to the CPL level, because there's such a vast amount of information that you can know, but you don't necessarily require to know for the exam. That's why I always advocate for the reverse engineering side of things, meaning taking the question bank and using the question bank as a filtration process of what knowledge you need to acquire.
Okay.
So you go through the questions. Let's say with MET. I remember with MET, in pilot's exams, it was 3,812 or so questions. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let me go through all of them. So I go through all of them. And I'm like, okay, there's about 800 or so questions that I was clueless on. So I said, okay, these 800 questions, what topics are they on? X, Y, and Z. Then I go to the books, or I go to the YouTube, whatever. I go to whatever material to try and understand the concepts. So I use the question bank to filter the knowledge that I need to learn. But that's my method.
Okay.
Each person to their own. And David, what's your method?
Yeah, okay, let me start off by saying for my conversion, I don't have to write all.
Oh, yes.
Only 3.
Oh my God.
Oh, is it still 3 for CPL as well? Yeah.
It's 3 from the main ones, including, and then IR, which makes it 4. So it's flight planning, meteorology, and air law, obviously. But yeah, I'd say with writing these 4, I had time to actually go through them. First time I wrote math didn't go so well. But then the second time around, I was like, okay, look, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to look at what the subject wants, and I'm going to give it to you. So I used partially your method, where you reverse engineer, but I also had the book right next to it. I went through the book, highlighted everything, made sure that every concept that there is to understand, it's in my head. I don't understand it yet, but I know it's there.
It's sinking in slowly.
Yeah. So and then you have your Google there right next to you. You have basically the means of the internet. Go through it, watch the videos. I'll definitely say, guys, what you do in your spare time as a pilot helps out a lot.
Big difference.
It'll reduce your workload, man. channels on YouTube that I subscribed to, there was a lot of knowledge that I picked up from there. But yeah,
Humongous source, isn't it?
dude.
It is. In fact, I think
It
most
is
of
a
my
lot.
learning
Exactly.
as a pilot.
I remember there was a time you were explaining how to go about the examinations, and I really watched that.
Yes, I watched the first one when you were explaining the subjects as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate. Well, that's one of the reasons why I put out that video, because I saw a lot of videos of Europe, North America,
Yeah.
and hardly anything
In South Africa.
in South Africa, Southern Africa. So I said, let me just put a video out.
Yeah.
Help whoever needs help, because we need it. We definitely need it. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, still on the same issue of studying and exams. Yeah, I think also knowing what to keep in mind and what to read for the purpose of the exam is also important.
True. True.
Because honestly, there's some knowledge that aren't necessary to keep, because you're not going to use them in a day-to-day flying. Yeah. Especially when it comes to ATG, there's a lot of things about the design of the aircraft. It's good to know. It's good to be a nerd and be able to explain all those things, but they're not. How can I say it?
Applicable?
Not even applicable. They're not really safety.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Without them, you won't be unsafe. Yeah.
Oh.
But there's some aspects, if you don't know, you're literally putting other people in danger, other than yourself, especially when it comes to air law and the rules of the air. So also, I think filtering what to know for the purpose of exams and what to know in real life, and especially when it comes to instrument rating, I think you can also
That thing.
if you don't know the knowledge, it's going to be very difficult. I think if you don't know the knowledge of instrument rating, it's going to be very difficult for you to do even the actual IF flying, because IF is mostly procedures. And if you don't know the procedures, then
Yeah, man. I'd say, aeroversity worked. That really worked. And try and be practical.
Okay.
We're in a practical field. You know, they didn't just pull these things out of thin air and just like, you need to know these things. But what he said is true with regard to what you should know for the exam and what you should know just as a pilot. You know, meteorology, I'd say it's really important. It's up there with some of the subjects that you should know as a pilot. Flight planning, it's self-explanatory. You're planning for a flight.
Yeah.
You're planning for a flight. You need to know that one.
Except
So-
for like when you're in airlines, everybody does it for you.
You know, but I mean, if you don't know, how are you gonna check what you don't know?
exactly.
You can't check what you're just gonna see numbers and be like crazy.
So now we've got about 2 minutes or so left. Last questions. What inspired each of you to get into the industry?
Oh my gosh, mine is a long story.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to shorten it.
Okay.
Basically, I tragically lost both of my fathers when I was young.
Jeez.
My biological father and my stepfather.
Yeah.
And there were times where I would ask my mom, like, hey, how do I know that my dads are with me? And she'd always say, no, baby, just look up in the sky and then you'll know they're with you.
Ooh.
Very, very interesting.
So
I think we can end the show there, bye.
What's my reasoning?
Wow.
So when it came to grade 10, I was basically choosing subjects according to which career that I wanted to do. But then I was debating between becoming a doctor and specializing in neurosurgery or becoming a pilot. And then I did research on neurosurgery and I was like, another 12 years of school? I was like, no. So I just thought I thought it would give me peace to be closer to my dad's if I was in the sky.
Yeah.
So once I started flying, I just loved it. There was like some sort of serenity when I was up there. And it's just like nothing else mattered. I just focused on the flying, so I grew the passion for it, and I generally don't see anything else I would do other than fly.
And fly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's
That's a very-
that,
a very
no, that's very
interesting story.
inspirational.
I don't think I have anything to add.
No, that's very inspirational, and I think it will definitely, communicate to a lot of people out there who are interested in aviation and speak to their heart about it as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So
That's
thank you
very
very much for sharing that. Really appreciate it. Yeah, David. Yeah, David. Go on.
David, David saw the
can you
bar
share a
on.
reason, please?
David saw the bar on
David.
traffic.
Okay, so my reason for aviation, when I was younger, I've always been interested in aviation, but it was more aerospace.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be a pilot, and somewhere along the lines, they stopped sending men to the moon. I was
Mm.
like,
Oh, geez,
why would
space.
you
Yes.
do that? Come on.
Mm.
So I was like, what can I do, man? I really love going up there, but there's a way to go up there.
Mm.
Let's take the plane out.
Mm.
And sure enough, that's what I did, man. In the wise words of Kanye West,
Mhm.
reach for the stars. If you fall, land on the clouds.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
So,
Hey, you got yours there. You got yours there.
So,
Donald, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to compete.
so yeah, man. Then started aviation. First time airborne. Man, it was painful. And I don't know what they did with the pressurization,
Mm.
but I remember that flight. It was.
Oh, wait, which aircraft was it?
I think we're going to Durban. I don't know. It was a 737.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know what was
737.
going on, but the ears.
Comair,
were doing-
we can say it now. They're not here
Yeah,
anymore.
The ears were painful. I
Mm.
remember the kids were crying on the aircraft, but yeah, aviation. But I'd say I'm finding myself more on the general
Unfortunately.
aviation. You know, those aircrafts you can own
Yeah.
by yourself and
Yeah.
fly alone. You know,
Mm.
your Cessna Citations, your PC-12s, those things. That's what I really love. I believe that people should own planes.
Mm-hmm.
People should have planes.
Mm-hmm.
People
You're a
have
big
cars.
advocate for it.
Yeah, people have cars, so
Yeah.
people should buy planes.
Get
Yeah,
a
get
plane.
planes. Get planes.
Come on, yeah. So that's more or less my
Airports
reason.
are empty. Get a plane.
True.
Johannesburg doesn't
It's
have
very
aircraft.
empty.
Exactly.
The air is clear.
Yeah.
The air is clear. You get there faster. Time is money, guys. Come on.
All right, Donald.
For me, I think it came more from the engineering background.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just interested in how things work.
Okay.
Let's start with things generally. And then came in aircrafts.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was interested in, oh, really, this is a really wonderful. How is it designed? How are we able to defy gravity and get up there? And then I came into a realization that not just making the aircraft is interesting, flying them is also interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So it started way back. I think I was still in high school, and the passion grew over and over again. And I think it was even compounded by the fact that my high school where I was at, it was just next to one of the busiest airports. in Nairobi.
Airports,
It was
yes.
an airport, yeah. So I was able to see aircraft flying in and out, and the interest grew from there over and over again. Eventually, I ended up actualizing the two dreams, both of them, of engineering and piloting. Here we are completing the piloting part of it.
Okay.
So I'll just say mine was a passion that started with the
Engineering
part
side of it,
yeah.
and then it grew into the flying
Grew
side.
into the flying side of
Okay,
it.
so,
But it's amazing. It was given, if you pointed a gun to my head and told me to choose one, I'd go for the piloting and aviation flying.
Well, at
Always
least now
flying.
you can not only fly the plane, but you can
Yes.
fix the plane, and you can maybe build the plane at the same time. You can do the entire process.
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
I've noticed that before, when I was in 43, before I came here,
Yeah.
there were a lot of Kenyans
Yeah.
that had degrees before getting into aviation. So
Yeah.
is that a requirement for you?
No, it's not a requirement, but it's advisable back at home. It's not a requirement. None of the company I know requires a degree. Kenya Airways, there was a time they required a degree. First of all, the Kenya Airways, there was a time they didn't require a degree. In fact, they did a initial at 43rd, where they used to take students straight from our high school, train them as pilots with a bond. I think it was 3 years, if I'm not wrong. And then somehow the students, because they're so young and all of a sudden they had a lot of money, some of them began to misbehave. And then they were like, no, we need more mature people. They
Oh, I
introduced the
see.
degree. And
Okay.
then after a while, again, they removed the requirement. Now they don't require a degree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to end it there. We have to, of course,
Wait,
say.
what inspired you?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
You're trying to run away from that.
Don't run away.
Okay, so for me, I was 3 years old, and this was in Cote d'Ivoire in West Africa. And then I don't know who it was, either my father or my mother, who had bought me a toy airplane, and this toy airplane was a Boeing 747. And so I just distinctly remember playing around with this Boeing 747. I was just so fascinated by it. And then at the time, my mom's from West Africa, so we were traveling between two countries, and Air Afrique. I don't know if any of you know or knew about Air Afrique. It's not. No, they're back actually. They had a 727, so you'd walk up the stairs at the back, right? And they would always have a steep takeoff, and I was just so fascinated by it. So just the combination of it's the toy that started off 3 years old, and for whatever reason the flying bug has not left me. If you ask any of my high school friends, primary school, high school friends, they will say Hotso has always had an interest in aviation, and it's not changed. So I don't know, no one in my family has been involved in aviation. I'm the only person so far,
like me.
right?
Similar story.
Exactly like me
Right?
as well.
But as you guys know, when the bug, catches you, that's it.
Yes, you can't.
You can't let go.
Exactly.
You just can't let go of it. So yeah, that's my story, and obviously I can go into the challenges and stuff and to get into this point, but that's another day.
And I think your journey is your story is that of resilience. I think we just need one episode just for you to
Yeah.
to explain
Your
to explain your
story.
journey. All
Yeah.
the way up to
The
where
10
you are
years
now.
that it took me to.
Start from 3.
Oh, geez,
Yeah.
starting from 3. Oh my
That
gosh.
is resilience.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, but I just hope that we all go through our challenges, and
That's true.
as long as we just keep pushing, as hard as it
Yeah.
as hard as it is,
Be
we'll-
worth it in the end.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, David, but you're going to be leaving the country, so we can't have you again on the show. Well, maybe virtually we can have you on the show. We should have you virtually on the show.
Fly back.
Yeah, dude, I should actually buy an aircraft, man. Guys,
Please do.
I'm putting down a down payment for a plane instead of a car.
You can
Yeah.
own an F-16.
What? No,
18 minutes.
Um,
But if possible, I'll definitely come back. My stay in Pretoria, man, was amazing.
okay.
Learned a lot. I'd love to come back. So
Yeah. Excellent. Good, Tabitha. We can probably have you back on the show if you'd like to come back on the
I
show.
would love to.
Excellent.
I would love to.
We'll have you back. So let's end it there. We'd like to
Yes,
thank
we can just send a special appreciation to Eagle Air
exactly,
for allowing us to host this show.
exactly,
It's really we are really grateful for that.
exactly. So as,
And we'll
as
tell you more about Eagle Air on the other episodes. So
exactly.
let's-
So we'll Eagle Air, of course, is the flight training or aviation training organization based out of Wonderboom Airport, which provides private pilot license, commercial pilot, night rating, commercial pilot license, and ATPL, airline transport pilot license training. So, come on through. All of us instructors are lovely. We like to teach, we love teaching, and would like to cultivate the new generation of pilots. So that's Eagle Air. So thank you very much, Eagle Air, for hosting this show. And we will see you
thank you
guys.
to the pilot. It's a pun. With the pilot guests.
Yes.
It's a past show. So
Exactly. Thank you to the
guests.
pilots for this
David and
pilot
Tabitha.
show.
Yeah.
most welcome.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you guys.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you.